Guys, here a while back, I had a Benchmade on the channel. It's been a few years, but it was the Crooked River, and I absolutely did like it, but I thought the price was a little bit crazy. In this case is a knife that is very similar to that Benchmade Crooked River that I think might be a better budget option. We're going to take a look at it from above, and a new company, Valhalla, never heard of them before. So let's turn this around and take a look at this knife from above. All right, guys, you know how much I like to see new companies, and this is one I'd never heard of, and when I opened the box, I saw this, which is a knife that is very similar to the only Benchmade I would say that I actually like. This looks very much like the Crooked River. Now, this is the Valhalla Pterosaur. This thing is a very, very nice looking knife. So this is done in G10. It's like butterscotch G10, I believe. I didn't look it up 100%. Looks like butterscotch G10. Steel bolsters, steel liners with a D2 blade, and really comfortable in hand. Nice clip, almost clip point style drop point blade. I guess you'd call it a clip point blade. Satin, and looks like blasted or a very fine stonewash. It is a flipper, or you can reverse flick off the bolster. Now let's get this box out of the way, because we're going to do quick size comparisons. People have complained I haven't been doing size comparisons lately because this is not a little knife. This is a fairly beefy, large knife, which, you know, Valhalla, Vikings, I get it. I absolutely dig this. So let's do some quick size comparison. Your first knife for comparison. First knife is the Spyderco PM2, one of the better known knives in the knife industry. And I do this for you guys who are new to the channel, so you have a visual perspective of knives that you might already know. So you can see, not a little knife at all. Your next knife for comparison is the Benchmade 940, probably the best known knife on the knife market, even though I don't recommend it. I do have one, but there you go. You can see significantly larger. And then your final knife for comparison, as always, is the iconic Chris Reeves Sebenza. This is the large 21, and you can see this is not a little knife. Let's get this out of the way, and we will do a quick visual on the mat. And so just to give you numbers-driven, guys, some perspective, this is coming in probably just about 9.5 inches. That's a 9-inch scale on the side of this mat, and it's just about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit past that in length. This is a big, beefy knife. Now, I liked the Crooked River. I just can't get behind the price. This, so far today, has been really, really nice. I did some cutting with it. It is very, very comfortable in hand. The action on it is really nice. Action on it is really nice. I'm assuming this is a budget knife. I haven't looked it up. You guys know that when new knives come in, they are basically a blind review. But that really feels your hands well. And the cutting I did, very comfortable. Iconic kind of outdoor style blade. Really nicely done grind on this. The grind is really consistent. You've got this fuller here, which is not just attractive. Like I said, it acts as a secondary deployment. And then you've got this jimping that up here, when you're cutting, just really is good jimping. I'm not a fan of jimping aesthetically, but if you're going to do it, it needs to be functional. And they just nailed it on this. The finish on this knife is done beautifully, beautifully well if you're talking about the aesthetics. But like I said, as far as use, really comfortable. Your flipper tab turns into a great finger guard on this. And it's got that, I want to say, you know, it's got that Benchmade, or not Benchmade, the Buck 110 blade style look to it that I really dig. Just an iconic outdoor style shape. Then you've got really good grip on these scales that like I said, not sure 100% if it's just textured G10, that's the butterscotch G10, or if it's micarta. It definitely feels more like G10 to me. Steel liners and a steel bolster. Great access to the lock bar on this. Sorry if it looks awkward. I cut the crap out of my thumb with the prototype of my knife. So sharp. But then the finish on these steel bolsters is just gorgeous. It's like a blackened steel, almost like a gunmetal, but it's been blasted. And then you've got all black hardware. Same finish on the pocket clip, which is a very comfortable pocket clip, by the way. It's not at all intrusive. It doesn't get in the way. And like I said, cutting with it, really comfortable. It addresses the cut really well. Now, as you guys know, every time we would do one of these videos, there's always some negative stuff. And I have found a couple, and one of them we're going to have to give it some time. So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the negative stuff. We're going to do flip side of the story, flip side of the knife. All right, let's get some of the little things that just are a me thing out of the way. The grind on it, you can see here, really, they did not open that sharpening choil up. You're going to be slamming into stones, and you've already got quite a pronounced smile on this, where you can see where even into the grind when they were chamfering off and knocking off the edges of the sharp edges of this, that they got into that with the grinder. Now that's just going to become more pronounced over time. It's easy to rectify. You can just take that material out with a file or a Dremel and just open that up ever so slightly. Minor little thing. Next thing, I don't like the way the pocket clip is done. I would much rather have had this recessed down into the material. When you put this in pocket, it's kind of a tight squeeze before it opens back up. You can see it tightens way up. I had a hard time getting it all the way down in my pocket. If this was like a taller pocket clip, even though it's nice and deep carry, if it was mounted down inside the material, it would have been a lot nicer. Aesthetically, I don't like lanyard holes. I think they had a prime opportunity. They already were doing some standoffs. They could have just put an extra standoff here that was done as a lanyard loop, like you would see kind of on Chris Reese Sebenza, where it's just a hole through it. And you can just run your lanyard through, and it's in there integral to the knife. And I'm not a fan. I wish they had kind of like cleaned up around these holes. That's just an aesthetic thing. Now we have to talk about a couple little things. The next one is, this knife is very heavy. They did 0 weight reduction on this. This knife is heavy. When we do the full review, I'll give you the full specs. This is really heavy in pocket and in hand, and it's a big knife. Now, the one thing I will say is that the balance on it is really good, and it's hefty. It doesn't feel it all week. But now we've got to talk about something that could be a game stopper or showstopper when we get down to it. So when this came from Jared, it had obviously been used, and it was not sharp. It was fairly dull. And so I touched the edge up on a ceramic rod and stropped it really good, and it was very sharp, and it no longer is. And I didn't really cut that much. So what I'm afraid is that we might have gotten a bad heat treat on this D2, or it could just be a well, I'm not may. I am going to resharpen this and take off the initial edge, the factory edge, and just see if it's a matter of maybe they burnt the edge a little bit. But that's kind of sad, because it is such a good looking knife, and the cutting I did before it got dull was comfortable, but it immediately got, you can see right there, it is already like, there's no real edge on that. It's really not that sharp. That edge stripped right off even after I had honed it on a ceramic rod and went through multiple strops and finished it. And it was hair popping sharp. And then just immediately I cut up one large flat rate box, and it was unserviceably dull at that point. So, but you know, we like to give knives the benefit of the doubt. So we will give it a full sharpening and then test it that way and see. It may affect. So as for now, if the heat treat is good, is it a yup or a nup? It's a yup, and as a matter of fact, as comfortable it is in hand, if the sharpening fixes the edge issue, I'd be willing to pull the pin on this one. So I got to fix that, guys. I got to turn this around and do some final thoughts. Yeah, there you go, guys. I do like this knife. It's really comfortable. I with the exception of what I said about the edge retention, and I haven't sharpened it yet to give it a full test. We're going to give it a good fair shot. So this might be something you're looking for. I'll try to put a link to it down below, but right now it's just a blind review. Guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. You don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but tell me why. I can't change what you don't like if you don't tell me. I have a lot of ways you guys can support the channel. I have a ton of affiliate links down below. All the major knife vendors, Knife Ship Free, GP Knives, Blade HQ, all that stuff down there. A lot of other stuff down there as well. I also have an Amazon store. You can take that link, pin it to your browser, use it for all of your Amazon shopping. I also have got those don't cost you anything at checkout, but I do have a couple links that have discounts built in. 10% off if you just use the link down below at Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trail. American-owned businesses, they're small businesses, great products with money-back guarantees. I do have a coupon code of Crazy Sharp that will also save you 10% at Fair & Forge Knife Works, KATSU Knives, and Rosecraft Blades, and it's Crazy Sharp, all one word, all lowercase. If you want to support the channel in a different way, I do have a membership down below where there's a private Discord and a bunch of other stuff, and you get early access to every video the second they go up. But I do have a public Discord down below, and I'm not on there as often as I would like, but I definitely do check it occasionally. And it is down there where it says join the community. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next video.